Hi guys, and welcome back to Hello Tarot Week here on Kiki Living. I'm so happy you guys are here. Have a little spookier. It's not really that spooky, but this is as spooky as I could get this year. But a little spooky setup today. And today we are looking at parallel universes. I feel like whether you actually believe in parallel universes or not, I'm still on the fence about it. But whether you believe in it or not, I think that this is a fun little reading to do for Hello Tarot Week this year. So today we are going to be looking at who you are in a parallel universe. So I've got images today, so that's why the setup isn't the standard like piles like you usually would see. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the images that I have for you today, and I will see you all at your reading. Before we begin, please do remember this is a general reading, so only take what resonates and leave the rest behind, because you are not the ugly stepsister. Please do not force that shoe onto your foot. Hi there, option number one. Those of you who chose the first image, it had like this purpley hue to it, so I've changed the little ball or little moon to like a purple. There we go. See, I probably shouldn't have done that. Pink or purple? Sorry, or this one. Do you know what? I've changed it to pink because I think it's a bit brighter. Hopefully that's not freaking annoying. There we go. I kind of wish I actually had filmed this in the evening now. I kind of wish I had filmed this in the evening now to get more of like the mood right, but it's fine. Today's reading, we're looking at parallel universes. Well, we're looking at who you are in a parallel universe. And one thing I love about choosing images is that I always get messages instantly from them. So I am gonna do a little meditation on your image, and then I'm gonna start, before I even pull like tarot cards or show you your oracle cards, I'm gonna just see what I feel, what energy I feel from your from this universe that we are connecting to, or this version of yourself that we're connecting to. This version of yourself is like falling into a dream. I almost see like a child in the womb or something like that. It's like creation, an energy, an energy of potential, which the thing with potential energy is that it can turn into any other type of energy. It's almost like this energy of birth, of the mother, of everything in between. Everything that connects you to like a universal wisdom, and also to a to the earthly realm, to the material world. I see you're full of wisdom, and I do think as well, as I go through this reading, you might feel like I'm almost talking about you now, and it's not an alternate version of yourself, because at the end of the day, whether it's a parallel universe or not, it's still your energy, it's still you. And there's things that would be carried from one universe to another. Things that would make you alike. So yeah, I feel like you are full of universal wisdom. I feel like you're very connected, or can easily connect to higher powers, to wisdoms beyond yourself. Wisdoms in other realms, even if that's what you believe. Whatever it is you feel connected to, you are connected to. There's a lot of mental energy here as well. Definitely psychic, like I just heard psychic, so yeah, great intuition. Great ability to pick up on things and almost have like wisdom beyond your years. That might have been something that a lot of people have said to you, like, oh, you're so wise beyond your years. When you come out with these things that people are like, where did you even get that from? You're like, I don't know. There's like this connectedness to, an interconnectedness to you. You might not even feel so separate from this version of yourself, because it feels like this version of yourself in the parallel universe, it is connected to everything. Connected to all versions of you. Yeah, I also see like a yin and yang symbol. So that balance between masculine and feminine. Being able to maybe bring people together as well. That relatability. Plus the image is so full of purple, and purple in terms of like the chakras and stuff, it is that higher wisdom, it is the third eye, the crown. And I also felt drawn to pick up a amethyst for you as well, which again is quite a psychic crystal, or a crystal that helps you connect to higher wisdoms, improve psychic abilities. And I just almost dropped it. Okay, so before I get like absolutely just sucked into this image of yours, I am going to we're gonna take a look at who you are in this parallel universe. Okay, so I've pulled some tarot cards for you. We've gone with the vice versa tarot. I think I might try and, there we go. Okay, so I've pulled some tarot cards for you. We've gone with the vice versa tarot because I like the way that it has this almost duality to it. And then also for this question of who you are in a parallel universe, we've also got some archetype cards. This is the unknown archetype deck. And what I did, I took out all of the other messages, all of the other cards in the deck, and I only used the people, I think it's called. I don't actually know what they call it. The selves. So I only used the selves. So I wanted to make sure that we had like actual archetypes to reference for you guys. So you guys ended up getting a lot of cards, first of all, which was annoying because I like my piles, my options to be equal, but you did get 3 cards coming out and they all really relate to each other, so I just ended up keeping them for you guys. And then I also went ahead and picked 3 for the rest. So you guys are definitely the, how can I say it? Definitely a leader of sorts. You kind of bring forth a way of being, almost like Uranus energy, where Uranus is that planet of forward thinking, and it can be a bit rebellious, it can be bit chaotic at times, but actually what it's doing is pushing something forwards to make it better. Because of its relationship to Aquarius, it wants to improve humanity. And I feel like that probably says a lot about you guys, but let's go ahead and show you what archetypes came out for you. So we have the healer here. We have the Mystic, which I'm not surprised to see. And we have the Queen. So first of all, I'm actually surprised the High Priestess isn't out here, but funny enough, looking over on the deck when I was just talking about that Uranus and Aquarius energy, we actually have the Star card that was on top of the deck there, and that is represented by, or represents the energy of Aquarius, so that's quite interesting. But getting into your reading, so first card I see here is the Eight of Swords, and it kind of reminded me of a bit of a monk energy. So you could be in some kind of, I don't know why I wanted to say convent, which is more like Catholic, I think. But you could be in some kind of like place that is away from people, away from others, even though you do have this healing ability about you. I feel like you're actually distant from others in some way. Especially because this Eight of Swords is about restriction, and monks kind of have, or in Buddhist religions, I don't know, I'm really just picking off the top of my head here, but it's almost like, you know, you're all wearing similar clothing, you can't eat certain foods, maybe, let's bring that back into focus, you can't eat certain foods, you can't do certain things, or there's like a quite strict routine in a way. So it's almost like you could get out of this if you wanted to. You could leave the sanctuary, whatever place it is, but you're choosing not to. You're choosing not to. So we do have a lot of feminine energy with the healer, the mystic, the queen, obviously. I think as the queen really just brings me back to that feminine. Again, the ability to really see beyond see beyond the everyday, see beyond the world, that the material world, and connect to something deeper and something higher than. I like to say higher than anyway. There's lots of things you could connect to, I guess. What's interesting is in this healer card, you almost have like similar imagery to the mystic card, which I've just realized. So you've got like this teardrop here in the circle. You've got this eye, and then this orangey yellow spiral. I don't really know what it is, but. And then in the mystic, you've got the eye in a teardrop with this almost orangey yellow butterfly coming out. So it kind of feels that from your healing, you have birthed the mystic within you. You have birthed the ability to see beyond the everyday. So you may, in this parallel universe, you've gone through an element of transformation, because you have a lot of snake imagery here. Even on the Queen card, you have the snake up here on the hand. It's almost like you've tamed the snake. You've owned this part of you. You're now using it, you're now able to use it to your advantage in this universe. I wonder if rubies have a specific meaning. Let me just see. Okay, so this is interesting. It says rubies encourage a passion for life, but positively and beneficially, so you do not end up overdoing things. It also helps you set realistic goals and improves motivation. Ruby is stimulating for the heart chakra and also for the root chakra. It encourages you to follow your bliss. It also protects the energies and health of your heart chakra if you find that your heart energy is being attacked or sucked dry by needy or malicious individuals. So it's interesting that we also have the 9 of Wands here for you guys, for who you are in a parallel universe. Because I feel like you have been through situations that have led you to this healing. It may have not been always fair, but it's left you situations that have left you wounded. But still you stand strong, still you fight on. But now you seem armed. Like I said, oh sorry, I'm so sorry about this focus, guys. Let's just zoom out a bit so that it's a bit more. Okay. So, now you were armored. Again, like I said, with the Queen and the snake. Whereas before, the snake was maybe in control, circling this mystic within you. It's interesting the way this has actually been laid out as the healer, the mystic, then the Queen. But anyway, these 3 snakes. 3-headed snake. I don't actually know what the, the Holy Trinity, right? 3 being the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Also body, mind, and soul. It's like 3 in a lot of spiritual texts is about a completion. Is almost about what was once a separation or could be a separation now becomes one. I forgot where I was going with this. So inside here we have the mystic, the snakes kind of guarding this. But once the transformation has been completed, once the snake's skin has shed, you're now in control with the Queen here. An archetype in the tarot that is like someone who's kind of come through it all and ended up in a place where they have the skills to now lead others as well. That's so interesting. So I'm looking at the Queen here, and I mean, I don't really know what flower this is, but daffodil came to me. So I've looked at the spiritual meaning of daffodils, and the first thing that's come up is rebirth and hope. As the spring flower and the first to bloom, daffodils are a symbol of rebirth and hope. They signify new life and resilience, as they are strong little survivors who have weathered the winter storm. Daffodils' cheerful bright yellow and white colours are a symbol of positivity. Isn't that crazy, guys? I mean, whether or not this is actually a daffodil, I mean, it kind of does look like one, but still. But we're talking about a rebirth, or a transformation as I've been calling it, but still a rebirth. And also that ruby, didn't it speak of a kind of positivity, a revitalization, a hope? And we actually do have the Fool card here as well. So in this parallel universe, you began this new beginning. I feel like you're just almost coming out of this energy now. And well, I mean to say, like, coming out of the whole healing energy, and you've actually come into this new beginning now, because it's like almost the dawn. I like the way that it's showing this side of the card, because it feels like everything is ahead of him. All the possibilities, like I said, that energy of possibility, where it can turn into any other type of energy. potential energy, I should say. So potential energy turns into any other type of energy. So this energy or possibility of potential, that there's so much more to achieve, to experience, to do. And again, does he only have, I'll show you this side, he has like a white flower. Maybe it's also a daffodil. That's so interesting. I don't think it is a daffodil, but it's a white flower, so I'll take it. Oh my gosh, he also has a snake. Sorry, let me try and... He's got a snake on his... I am literally a mess. Chill out. Okay. Right, so he has got a snake on his stick. So again, taming the snake. Now the snake is one with him. I keep messing up the whole spread with these long ass sleeves, but it's like almost like the snake is now a part of him, a part of his journey. So not only is it a part of his journey, this transformation of the snake, but also it's now with him. It's like all the lessons and everything are with him, but it doesn't control him anymore. It doesn't circle around preventing this inner mystic from coming out. So if there's any card that I want to kind of touch on, it's going to be the Mystic and the Queen. So we'll do that in a little bit while I look at this Nine of Pentacles. So again, you do have a lot of white symbolism here. White is almost that energy of like purity, isn't it? Of like a... And again, we saw the child in... Well, I saw the child in that imagery that you guys chose. And a lot of the times you relate children to an idea of purity. Something like a new beginning, a rebirth. Untouched by society or darkness or any of those kind of things that we want to keep ourselves away from. And here in the Mystic card, we have a butterfly with all this black around it, but where the butterfly stands is full of this white. So even the way your whole message is so full of these synchronicities and these symbolisms, it is like, again, another confirmation of how this person in the parallel universe is really connected to the universe and in order to receive these kind of synchronicities. They can pick up on these synchronicities as well. Again, we got white flowers in the Temperance card, which is a card all about healing. See them down there. Bringing things into balance. She's got Mercury on her, the sign of Mercury as well. It might be Venus, but I'm not actually quite sure what that one is. But the sign of Mercury, the ability to communicate. And then even the pouring of the cup of the liquid or water or whatever into the second cup. Oh gosh. The liquid into the second cup, it gives me that Aquarius energy again of like the water bearer. The ability to transport the energy of water, of emotion, of feeling, of depth, without getting caught up in it. And that's why they're so good at helping the majority or the collective. Because they can manage all the intensities of it almost. So then we finally come to the Nine of Pentacles in your spread, where we do have this spring-like feeling, this rebirth feeling of all these flowers even on her dress. Again, white dress full of these flowers, full of a newness, a revitalization. 9 is also very close to the 10, very close to completion. But with 9 being here, it's almost like you have done this on your own or this, sorry, I feel like I keep wanting to say you, but it is, I am referencing this person. So this version of you has done this on their own, mostly on their own. They've got to this stable place. They feel good within themselves. And I feel like things are growing for them. Right, so before we move on to the next part of this reading, I'm going to read the Mystic card. And then also the Queen card. But the Mystic is often misunderstood in our culture, depicted as a wandering or light-hearted daydreamer. Yet, like Shiva, the true mystic plays a critical role in society, remaining fearlessly dedicated to the path of transformation. In order to save the earth from darkness, Shiva swallows the poison of the world and holds it in his throat. Again, does that not really resonate with what I was saying about the Aquarius energy? The ability to almost transmute the depths of our, like the depths of our society, the hard emotions of our society, without getting caught up in it. And also that energy of darkness. So yeah, holds it in his throat, slowly transmuting the liquid into nectar. Yeah, this is the work of the mystic. They do not fear darkness, but rather sit in the presence of it. See this card. Again, you don't fear it. You have overcome. You have overcome whatever limitations. Oh, sorry, this person in the parallel universe has overcome whatever limitations have held them back. They are now in control of it. They own it. Harness the potential and latent energy behind it and embed it with light. They are patient and prudent change makers. Change makers, Uranus energy again. Seeking growth above all else. Unanswerable questions are the mystic's lifeblood. The mystic revels in mystery in the great riddle of life, dancing with the forces of light and dark upon its wings. It says, it may seem that the mystic is inward facing, yet its light beams back to the world with the strength of 1,000 stars. Oh, guys, the synchronicities are actually insane. Right, let's get to the Queen, because I'm taking forever to get through this reading for you guys, but that's fine. So, like her counterpart the King, the Queen has a dualistic nature. Okay, I mean, dualistic nature, choosing the vice versa tarot, the fact that anyway. I'm literally just freaking myself out here because it's like everything I've just said is like, well, duh. Anyway. Like her counterpart the King, the Queen has a dualistic nature. Either she presides over the realm with grace and eloquence that comes from the heavens to uplift the spirits of others, or she falls into petty contemptuous moods, casting a shadow across the land. If the King is the ego, the Queen is the expression of that ego in the world. She is the lotus bloom. Oh, it's probably a lotus then. Not a daffodil, but I'm glad that I thought it was a daffodil. The dancer's bow, the moon's radiant reflection. When the Queen is seated in her rightful and righteous place, she is patient and forgiving. Again, patience coming up here. And I do feel that with the Temperance card, I did want to say something about patience, that I feel like this person in the parallel universe, the version of you in this universe, is really practicing patience right now. She is patient and forgiving. She waits for the grace of God and Goddess to move through her, striving and grasping for nothing. To be the benevolent leader, to embody the Queen is to settle into deep trust, resolve and power. The royal Queen fears nothing, for divinity itself cradles her heart. Again, fears nothing. Again, owns that energy, owns the darkness. Again, there is duality and she knows that. She accepts that. And it is her choice, whatever she leans into. Okay, I love that reading. I almost wanted to end it there, but I'm not going to because we have more to discover about this person. Ooh. Alright, lovely. So let me just leave these over here and continue with your reading. So next up, we want to look at what decision created this universe. So a decision that you made that created this version of yourself, basically. Whether it was a different decision from you've made in this lifetime, or maybe it's the same decision, but it's just branched off. So, please, decision. To this version of themselves. Got the Queen of Wands, which gives me that Queen energy again. And the King of Wands, so interesting. So that duality coming up here. As soon as I've seen it, you've got the Three of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands here. And as soon as I've seen them come out, even though it's probably not the traditional meaning of this, but we all read intuitively anyway. So I feel like you've kind of walked away or had to walk away from people. Even where I've seen this kind of isolated nature of this version of yourself. Which I think you're comfortable in, but you've had to walk away from maybe community in order to help more people. And that was a hard decision to make. Like all those wands that he's carrying. It's almost like he's pushing against everything that he feels. With it being wands here, it's that passion, it's almost like a pure energy of love. Of desire, I should even say. But sometimes our desires aren't really aligned with us. Sometimes people, no matter how much we like them or we like being in their company, they aren't really aligned with us. And we have to make the decision to move on without them. Even if that means pushing against or all these 10 wands here. Intuitively reading, I kind of feel like this person has picked up any barriers that kind of stops them from leaving a particular type of community. And decided to go at it on their own. And I think that's why you've come to the Nine of Pentacles, because you are, because this, I keep saying you, I'm so sorry. Because this version of yourself is on their own, has made it on their own, has healed on their own. And it's brought you to this energy of the Queen of Wands. A decisive person. Someone with patience who trusts that everything is going to work out in their favour. Again, we have a little pet down here. She has like a little black cat. And in the Nine of Pentacles, she's got like a rabbit and a bird. And I almost feel as if even if there's been no people or humans in this person's life to support them through this, they felt supported by animal spirits or animals, or just in general, like their spiritual community. Maybe not necessarily something that they could physically, tangibly connect to, but on a spiritual level, they know that there's been someone there by their side through this all. I'm just going to put a clarifier for this King of Wands. Let me clarify the King of Wands one first for this decision. Queen of Cups. Which I actually think talks about that ego that we saw in the Queen message here. Of how the King is the energy of ego and the Queen is the expression of it. So it's almost like falling into the feminine energy. Again, receptivity, patience, trust, of belief, of knowing. It's almost like surrendering seems very easy, but it's not. It's a very active thing. You have to choose to surrender all the time. So it's like you've made a difficult decision to surrender that has led to this version of you. Well, this version of you made a difficult decision to surrender that led to this version of you. Again, it was like you had to choose not to go with your desires, with your ego. Maybe these people fulfilled your ego. Maybe they had money. Maybe they were like, you know, business people. Like I said, it felt like this version of you kind of lives in maybe like a really small community, or maybe like they are like in a where do monks live? I can't remember what the thing is called. I'm so sorry, but like they usually live in a kind of like a secluded, reclused area. So it's like you've had to leave these environment, these people behind, which also meant giving up those ego-driven desires as well. So also, I forgot to even look at these before we're moving on, about the decision. So we have Message in a Bottle and Treasure Island. I remember that these actually came out in reverse. And it's funny that they're very similar colours, that blue. Tapping into your emotions. I feel as if again, the decision that you made was to kind of see where, to actually pay attention to and recognise where you may have been going wrong, where you may have not been choosing yourself and making decisions out of fear, opposed to out of the energy of trust. Again, you could have been in this person could have been in a situation where they had to choose to leave really wealthy friends. I don't know why that's really coming to me, but like friends that had a wealth of knowledge or lots of things, but they weren't really connected on a soul level. So yeah, so the decision that led you to this version of yourself in the parallel universe was the decision to leave behind a certain type of community that doesn't align with you anymore. It was the decision to reconcile with your feminine energy and to trust and to actively surrender and trust and have faith that, and live in the belief of better, of abundance, opposed to a belief of fear. Last but not least, we're going to look at some guidance that this version of yourself has for you. So you have Soak in the Bath, and you have You'll Find What You Seek. It says, if you've ever suddenly found and been loved by someone amazing, awesome, fun and fantastic, chances are astronomically you will again. If you haven't yet found such a person, chances are astronomically you will. It's up to you, the universe. I love that message for you guys. Because where I said you might have had to leave behind a community or friends or a type of people, even though there was a desire there, or like an ego-based desire, I guess you could say, there, and also a fear that maybe you won't get that again, you won't connect with people again. So if you have also had to do that in this version of yourself that is watching this reading today, then this parallel version of you I hope this makes sense, this parallel version of you, and this version of you in a parallel universe is here to tell you that everything that you have left behind was worth it. Everything that you are seeking now, you will find. And funny enough, 2 of these cards came out from this deck, and they both had hearts on them. I had to put one back because, again, like I said, you were getting too many cards, but they both had hearts in it, and they both were very similar cards. I don't remember what the other one said now, but if I could, I would have told you. But I can't remember, I apologize. But anyway, this one was speaking to me the most for you guys, that you needed to hear. And I think it's just saying that everything that you desire desires you, and you will receive by making the conscious effort to surrender, and by, you know, basically being fearless in facing your fears. So yeah, soaking the bath to me always feels as a way of relaxation, rest. Again, connection to water being really important for you guys. Also a way of cleansing, water, cleansing all those energies, particularly if you are someone who's very intuitive, who takes on a lot of energy. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised this version of yourself has the healer, the mystic. So I assume that you guys also take on a lot of energy. So try taking some more baths when you feel overwhelmed. You know, set the mood, different aromas, different candles, lightings, petals, whatever it is that you need, whether it's just simply a little bubble bath, I don't know. Do this. So guys, that is everything that I have for you today. We do have a 3rd video coming for HALLOTAROT week, so 1 final video left. If you enjoyed the reading, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, let me know what you thought, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye. Hi there, option number 2. Those of you who chose the 2nd image, welcome to your reading. We're going to start first of all with the question of who you are in a parallel universe. So I'm going to use these cards. I've also got Labradorite. Sorry, that is the wrong crystal. I've also got lapis lazuli and howlite here as well, because I felt most drawn to these crystals for your readings. I didn't realize these are the exact same crystals that I used in one of the options of the first HALLOTAROT reading that I did this week. So if you're choosing the same crystals again, welcome back, hello. That is a really weird coincidence. But maybe you also really need some lapis lazuli and howlite in your life. So I've already pulled some tarot cards for you. I just wanted to like intuitively look at your picture and kind of just give out any information that I received before we even fully start the reading. So let me get into your energy. So just from your energy, I almost feel this spark. So a lot of you guys could have fire signs, fire sign placements. So that's Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius placements. I mostly feel Aries and Leo for this option though. Or also Gemini as well. I see some mercurial energy here. Like there's a lot of again, I keep hearing like almost electricity or like synapse firings, like a static almost feeling. Definitely some Leos in this option, I would feel. You don't have to have a Leo sun sign. It could be like moon, rising, anything that's kind of significant really. Like in your big three maybe. I do also feel like maybe there is a front that this version of your parallel universe puts on. Maybe like a very playful or childlike, maybe even, yeah, like, you know that phrase, like playing up for the cameras? It's like there's a front or a mask that this person puts on, but behind it, it's actually quite almost subdued. It's almost like if this person pretends to be an extrovert a lot of the time, but actually they have a lot of introverted energy. Right, let me look at your... So what I did here is I used the World Unknown Archetype deck, but I only used the persons, I think they called it, category in the deck, so that we could get specific like archetypes for this version of yourself. So for you guys, we have the Mentor. I also just heard the Mediator. We have the Creator, which has all those colors in it, just like your imagery as well, which is quite interesting. I think it almost has all the colors that your image does, that I chose for you does. And then also you guys have the Shadow. Yeah, so it almost feels as if the Creator is the one that comes into the forefront, but the Shadow kind of just lingers behind. Lingers behind. Some of you guys might have felt drawn to option number 1 just because Aquarius energy came out a lot, and we do have the Star card here for you guys. So just give me a moment to start receiving these messages for you. I almost feel a sense of confusion between who you are and who you want to be, what you want to be. Yeah, I hear the word desire. So there is an unfulfilled desire here that this parallel version of you feels. A lack of connection to someone, I hear. A lack of connection. Yeah, there's like this confused feeling, or an imbalanced feeling. Like I can feel almost this energy, like you can't quite stop moving. Again, like almost Gemini energy, but it's an imbalance that this person senses or feels. It's letting me in. Letting me into. So this version of you feels very active. They might be like into sports or something like that. They could even be like a well-known like sports player in this version of you. Definitely see basketball here. Yeah, when I look at this Ace of Pentacles, I hear the word the key. So they have the key to unlock a certain experience or destiny, a certain avenue for themselves. But now it's just about creating it, which is funny. You have the creator here. Now it's about creating it. And again, like I keep saying, there's this forefront and this back message. It's like the energy of, say, like a celebrity or a social media personnel, let's say that. And at the forefront, all you see is them maybe going to interviews, or let's even give the example of someone who is a sports person. At the forefront, all you see is them playing a game maybe once a week, that type of thing. But on the back end of that, there's training, there's daily training, there's the routines that they have to stick to, the diet, and again, for the social media person now, there is maybe the late nights, there is the organization that is involved. Like basically it's almost as if there's something on the back end of whatever that this person does, and I hear that they enjoy to do it or they love to do it, that takes a lot of work but maybe doesn't get the recognition that they might feel they deserve. It really exhausts this person, this version of you. Intuitively reading this Ten of Swords, I almost feel that as if even when you feel overwhelmed, even when it gets you down, or I should say when this individual, this version of you feels overwhelmed and gets them down, it's almost as if they can bounce back again. Because even with all the swords that are in this person, this soldier, whatever, I feel that he could easily pull them out because he has the armor to protect him. Well, like they've just sliced the armor, they've sliced the face of it. Right, so for you guys, I really do need to pull clarifiers because I want to understand more about this, who this version of you is. I also felt incredibly tired on your pile when I felt re-energized when I was about to start this. So this version of yourself, like I said with the Ten of Swords here, it's like there's almost this draining of energy, but also a need to keep going, to keep pushing through. Yeah, in this version of you, in this parallel universe, you are a star in some way. Whether it's a celebrity, a football star, something that makes you stand out from the crowd. You might just be in the spotlight in some way, even if that's just like a CEO or something like that. You just had the Five of Cups come out here. Clarify the star card here, please. Who they are in the parallel universe. So King of Swords reversed. Clarify the Ace of Pentacles here, please. Who they are in the parallel universe. Five of Pentacles now. So again, that energy of the number 5, where it's very chaotic, very unbalanced, a lot going on, especially a lot of changes, maybe feeling a bit unbalanced or out of whack, like you can't quite find your footing. Clarify judgment here, please, for who we are. We have the Ten of Cups. So like I said, it's like something you love to do. So whatever it is that takes this amount of work for this person or this version of you, it does emotionally fulfill them. Even though you have the Five of Cups here, but you do have the Ten of Cups now. Because yeah, it does emotionally fulfill them. I'll leave that there. So have I the Three of Wands, please? I love that I've had one card come out. Usually when I pull from like this deck and the other one as well, like too many cards come out. So there's a very controlled nature about this version of you, even though on the outside they might appear a bit chaotic, or their life might appear very chaotic, or is very chaotic, but there is a very controlledness to you. But we do have the mental here as well, so to be a mentor, there has to be a certain level of organization or control as well. So that's the King of Pentacles coming out here. So again, back to that vision of yourself that you're trying, that this version of you is trying to create. I think feeling in a sense of lack, maybe a lack of inspiration. Feeling an element of like that mindset of like, is this all just going to waste? And desiring to achieve the kind of top level, even if this version of you is not at that point of fully being recognized yet, I think they desire to be there. They desire to get to that point. And there's almost a comfort in this King of Pentacles. Sorry guys, just have to change the battery. Yeah, I almost feel like there's this element of comfort in the King of Pentacles. Like an idea that once you get to this point of fully being recognized, of fully capitalizing on whatever idea or creation that you have, there will also come a level of comfort. So this version of you is kind of battling between these self-doubts, this shadow, which I would put in the realm of the shadow, basically, these self-doubts. The voices that tell them that they won't get there, or that whatever they're doing isn't going to amount to anything. And battling between that and their love for creation. And also their drivenness, their ambition, I should say, their ambition. Because I just see this imagery on the mentor as someone just swooping in, being quick with it, being fierce with it, being determined. I almost feel like owls. I don't really know much about owls, but from this imagery I just feel as if like an owl sees its prey and it swoops in and grabs it. It doesn't mess around. There ain't no messing around here. We're not gonna, like, you know, play with it like a cat maybe does and sometimes loses their prey. It's like, I've seen it, I've got it, I'm gonna get it. But the owl's head shape is also a shape of the heart. So again, I feel like there's love intertwined with the ambition. It's not ego driven. Or it's not all ego driven anyway. Let's see what else your guidance cards have to tell us. So we'll look at the mentor and the creator, I feel like. Although I don't want to look at the shadow card because I've not had that before. So the mentor says that cosmic knowledge pours down on the world like a great illuminated waterfall. This can be an overwhelming force. The true teacher, though, is said to be able to hold this flow of wisdom at bay, while the student sips from a focused stream. The mentor archetype has a gift for reading the room, for sensing the exact ingredient that will stimulate growth within the student, whether pleasant or painful. The mentor may appear aloof or available, harsh or tender, humorous or rigid. Their gift is to know what serves the soul. Ultimately, the mentor as a gift is in service of the greater cosmic good and aids in the elevation of consciousness. Anytime the mentor forgets this humble link and mistakes themselves for the source of enlightenment, the archetype falls into shadow. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry, the synchronicities on these readings today have been amazing. I love that. I just love the way that's kind of, even the way this happened in option number 1 as well, the way I've laid out the cards is that we've gone from the creator to the mentor and then the shadow. So where I've spoken about doing things out of love, possibly creating from an element of love, and I think that this version of you has, again, it's almost a seesaw, and it hasn't quite stabilized it yet. It hasn't quite found its groove of always knowing what the right way of saying things is. Again, there's like this mask element. Like, let's take the celebrity element again. And when a lot of new celebrities, when they are in interviews and stuff like that, maybe they sometimes say things that they probably shouldn't have said, or they act maybe out of character at first until they kind of get into the groove of, or they receive a kind of mentoring in how to emit information in the most receivable way. So I think this version of yourself is still in that student stage, but I think you will transition into these mentor archetype. And the thing with being a mentor, or being, say, the best of the best, is that it's important to stay a student, remain a student. Where I mentioned about the owl being very determined and focused and kind of focusing in on its prey and not messing about, and where in this description we have the student that sips from a focused stream. And I think as this version of you is transitioning into a mentor energy, it is becoming overwhelmed by the abundance of knowledge, of maybe power that comes with what they know. And then how best to kind of, again, get that message across. No matter what this version of you is kind of into or the best at. Whether that's like a spiritual knowledge and then, trying to write a book that really just blows up. But it's like you're trying to take every single thing that you've learned and put it into this kind of compiled, well-structured informational book that then the student who reads that book can actually digest what they're saying. Right, so the creator is the first archetype in the trio of existence, is not intimidated by darkness or by lack. They know that from the void, creation inevitably emerges. With meager, minimal, and outlandish materials, the creator reveals a new image. They make the empty room resonate with healing sounds. They generate bounty from the seed that others toss away. Though generative, this archetype annihilates preconceived notions of what is possible, leaving unexpected openings in the wake of its destruction. The creator does this first by being absolutely present to what is, not imagining or wishing things were different. And second, trusting that a force greater than themselves awaits constant collaboration with each human soul. Whether we call it nature, God, goddess, Shakti, or divinity, it remains nameless. It is the creator's lifelong companion. So I think it's interesting here that we have these two Five of Pentacles and the Five of Cups, which is kind of when in the tarot cards that we descend into a bit of a lack mindset, bit of a energy of darkness, of feeling without. I've really been struggling with my words this reading today. What word am I trying to find? Okay, I'll use the word of this description here, where they speak about the empty room. So I feel like these fives feel like being in an empty room, being without. And where I mentioned how this Ten of Swords, it feels as if despite everything that he experiences, he is protected. He still strives on. He still wants to continue this because it is something that this version of you enjoys and loves. So with that being said, whilst this version of you is remaining present to what is, maybe they're not at the top of their game. Maybe they don't quite know how to translate information in the best way yet. But they know by continuing that the energy to do that is there. The potential, I should say, to do that is there. That they are a creator before anything. And with that knowledge, they can build this life that they want. They can create this version of themselves that they desire. I feel that this version of yourself in this parallel universe is finding the balance between the version that they want to be and the version that they might be right now, which might still include a lot of that shadowy aspect, a lot of desire that doesn't come from the heart, that comes from an ego-based desire of maybe wanting to achieve so that they can tell that that person, their high school bully, that, hey, look what I did. Do you know what I mean? Like something that's not grounded in anything that's worthwhile, I guess. And I think that this version of yourself in this parallel universe hasn't quite found that balance yet. Again, it's kind of on that seesaw, and it's not leveled out just yet. But they're getting there. Let's now look at what decision created this universe. What decision you made that created this universe. Right, Tower. Once. Yeah, oh my god, please. Take that one as well, why not? Right, so you have the Tower, the Knight of Wands, the Hermit reversed, the Two of Swords reversed, and the Queen of Cups reversed. I think the decision that this version of you in the parallel universe made was to not delve deeper. And I think the reason it's like it's a decision that they're still almost making is that why they're still on this imbalance between shadow and higher self, or whatever you want to call it, it's because they're kind of pushing forwards without pausing to delve deeper. And it is a decision because of this Two of Swords in reverse. It's like refusing to see what's screaming at you, what's right in front of you. It's almost like this version of you is saying, I'll deal with it later. Or when I get to that point in my life, then I will look back on maybe some of my things that I'm not the best at. Some of the things that maybe I didn't do so well. Opposed to just fixing it now so I can get there quicker. Like this Knight of Wands gives me the energy of someone who is just charging ahead. Again, they have that armor about them. That level of protection because they know underneath they are vulnerable. They're unwilling to, the decision that they made was that they were unwilling to let go. It was almost this fear of what would become if they looked at their darkness or their shadow. You know, would everything I have now cease to exist if I go there? It's more scary to go there than to keep going. And once I feel like they've maybe looked at certain parts of this, I don't think they've really... It's almost like there's still little bits at the bottom that they haven't fully scrubbed out yet. They haven't fully inspected yet. Again, in that imagery where I keep talking about this front image, I don't know how to say it, but like a front image and then a back image. Like at the front, it's like, yes, I've done all of this. Again, if I give the example of, say, someone who has a level of spiritual wisdom and they're trying to write a book. It's like in the book, they're like, I've done this and I've done this and I've healed this and this is what I've learned in my life journey. But actually, if you had really delved into a certain, maybe something that you didn't really want to, maybe you were a bully in school. I'm really giving the most random examples, but say this spiritual healer was a bully in school, but they chose to just say like, well, I've healed now. Well, I've learned that that's a bad thing, so that's fine. But they haven't really looked at what maybe caused them to be like that. They haven't really forgiven themselves for that. They haven't really maybe asked, well, not really asked, but you know, they haven't really tried to reconcile that shadow, that aspect. And a shadow doesn't necessarily have to be like something really, like a shadow could be like people pleasing. And it's like, well, it doesn't really harm anyone apart from me, so I'm just gonna keep doing it because it's easier than looking at the reason why I do it. It's easier than, because sometimes when we do shadow work as well, it takes a lot of time. And it might mean that you can't do certain things because your head's not in the right place, because you are energetically clearing out so much. So this version of yourself is the decision that they are making, or they've made, that led to where they are now, is that Oh, sorry, I should say that the decision that you made that led to this version of yourself in this parallel universe, if we think of it like a decision creates a new avenue of you. So the decision that you made was that you didn't delve into the parts of yourself that required real healing. And that's not to discredit anything that you have done, but it's like there's something there that almost screams at you, or you tell yourself anything but that, not that. That thing is a thing that requires your attention right now, or you're basically not giving it the attention that it needs and it deserves, led to this version of you in a parallel universe. And as I said with option number 1, maybe you are actually more connected to this version of you than you think. As in, maybe the version of you that I've described already actually sounds very much like you. With maybe a few little changes here and there. So again, Queen of Cups. Oh, which I've just dropped on the floor. With this Rider-Waite depiction of the Queen of Cups with the cup with the lid on it, it's like a fear of opening that lid, of exposing the depths of her emotions. With the lid on it, it's very contained. I know what's inside, but it's easier if I just leave the lid on. It's less messy, it's more manageable. So I feel like that was the decision that you made. Again, even in this card, she's not fully immersed in the water. She's kind of on land. It's almost like saying one thing, again with the spiritual example of a spiritual healer or something like that. It's saying one thing of like, I'm healed, I'm really spiritual, I'm like a life, say if you do life coaching or something like that, like, oh yeah, I'm a great coach at this because I've experienced all of these things and I've learned all of these things. But it's like, you're just saying it. You're not actually doing the work that you want others to do. You're not where you want others to be. And I don't necessarily mean you, but I mean this version of yourself. Okay. Right, so last but not least, we're going to get guidance from this version of yourself. Oh no, one more. I keep forgetting to do this, but I meant to do this, which is related to the first question. The second question that we had was what decision you made. So we have the TikTok card here, which I'm sure talks all about divine timing and also patience as well. Yeah, in this imagery, it feels as if the hand can't grasp onto time. Like it's moving faster. It's moving out of reach. Something is out of reach. And this could relate to a decision, like with the bully example, maybe it's that with the example of being a bully and not wanting to look back at that time in your life. Definitely not saying any of you guys are bullies, but it's like, well, it was so long ago and I don't really want to bring that back up with that person and ask for forgiveness from them because that's just bringing up the past. So it's almost the excuse of the time has passed so much that what's the point? There's no use. And I think it's interesting how this time also kind of goes off on an angle. Like, it's not quite straight. You know what I said? There's like this unevenness in this energy of this version of you. It's like a feeling of being in Alice in Wonderland, where everything has a familiarity about it, but nothing quite seems quite right. But it takes her a while to realize that things aren't quite right. It's like they're livable, but it's not home. It's like being this version of their self is livable, but it's not quite fully comfortable. Right. I'm going to read the oracle message. It says, when humans created time, everything changed and contracted. People have come to look at life in a linear way, imagining that the past is behind them and the future ahead of them. But what if this but what if this isn't true at all? What if everything, creativity, beauty, chaos and order were happening now in a glorious timelessness? You have all the time in the world to co-create the life you desire. So release your agenda. Let go of your need to shape each moment in your expectations, knowing that what is yours will never be withheld from you. Miracles are here right now and always show up when you need them, right on time. Yes, that again gives me the energy of the Knight of Wands that we had. Here we go. The Knight of Wands that we had. A feeling of needing to go, go, go. I can't slow down because I don't have enough time. I'm already this age, so I'm already behind. That actually rhymed. Didn't mean that to rhyme, but oh well. So it's like how you came to this version of you, the decision that you made was a decision that, again, time is linear, that a decision that comes out of a bit of lack. A decision not to delve deeper. It could even just be delving deeper into the truths of the universe, let's say. Like the truths that there is an abundance of things, that the universe is always giving, and it's possible to receive with little effort. Right, and last but not least, let's move on to your advice from this version of you. So we have sweet treats, which I love. I always get this card whenever it is time, when I'm being too hard on myself and it is time to treat myself. So this version of you is telling you to treat yourself, whether that is with a sweet treat. Don't be so hard on yourself. Indulge a little or a lot. Indulge. Right. And then also, and I think as well, I mentioned in your message about this version of you being very organized or restricted in some way. Pulling back in some way, constricted, in a way with the time as well. It said time, when humans create time, the world constricted, or I can't remember what it said. But there's almost this element of like, I can't do that because, no, I can't go there because. It's like, no, slow down, give yourself some time, indulge. Right, and another one message that they have is, if they once loved you, they still do. And before I even read the back message, this gives me the feeling of, again, when this version of yourself is saying like, oh, I can't do that. I kind of given the same thing, but I can't backtrack. Let's give the example of the bully again. I can't backtrack and say that I'm sorry because time has passed and I'm sure they're over it, and I'm sure that I'll just be bringing it all up again. And it's like, no, but if this person once meant something to you, maybe it's not the bully, maybe they meant something. Okay. If this person once meant something to you, then they still do. There's still a connection there, there's still a link there, because why are you still thinking about it? Why do you still feel drawn to it? Why is it still pulling on your on your energy. If you had healed it, if it had reconciled, then it wouldn't be doing that. And it says, thanks for every single time you ever fell in love. Whether or not it was obvious, whether or not it lasted, and whether or not you were loved back, it changed everything. Actually, you are always... I was kind of not looking at the camera there, so I don't know when I cut out, but when I read out you changer, it's like you have the ability to change any outcome. It's funny when I kept saying the decision that you made. It feels like a constant decision to make that, a constant choice to make that decision, to maybe not delve deeper, to say I'm not going there, or I'm not going to do this, or something like that. It's like it's not just one decision that led here, it's like a constant decision that is leading to this, that is continuing this version of yourself in the parallel universe. So it's like very easy for you to change that, to make a new decision next time. Right guys, that is everything that I have for you. Thank you for coming to this reading. If you enjoyed it and it resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up and let me know down below by commenting. And I will see you all in my next video, the third and probably final installment of the Hello Tarot Week videos. So I will see you there. Bye. Hi there, option number 3. Welcome to your reading. We've got the blue colour going on here today. I mean for your pile, since your image was more bluey, thought I would let them all match. So we're going to start off by looking at who you are in a parallel universe, and I've already pulled your cards for you. Okay, so as your cards were coming out, I was like shocked because you literally have all these 4 cards came out in option number 1, so you might have been drawn to option number 1. The 9 of Wands and the Fool card came out in a different view, so you guys have this view of the deck, whereas in option number 1 it did come out on this side. So a different story of similar energies, I guess you could say. And then you also had Temperance and the 9 of Pentacles, which came out in option number 1. And then you had the King of Pentacles, which didn't come out in option number 1, but you guys have the King of Pentacles. So just give me a moment. I think I'm going to pull some energy directly from the image that you guys chose, and then we'll move on to the cards. So let me just tap into this energy here. I feel a lot of peace and joy from this pile. So I do feel that in this parallel universe there's a lot of almost fun, hope, joy, like really, really positive emotions and energy. Feels calm. Feels, again, peace is just coming up. Peaceful, peaceful, peaceful. Also love, a lot of love here for this person in this universe. All the same words, peace, love, hope, really coming out here. So overall, just really positive emotions and energy for this individual, this version of yourself. So you guys could have water placements. I also did feel Sagittarius placements as well. Yeah, there's like a strong kind of Jupiterian energy kind of from your pile. Cancer, Virgo also I'm hearing. And maybe Capricorn as well. So I'm mostly hearing earth signs, some water signs, and Sagittarius. So fire sign. Obviously you don't have to have any of those placements specifically. Okay, let me see what we have for your cards. So I pulled a wild unknown archetype for each of the options, but I only picked from the people, or what they call persons, I think, category of the deck. So I wanted to get specific archetypes. So you guys have the Hunter. Okay, I completely see what's going on here. So the Hunter, the Warrior. Oh, this is so lovely. And the Father. Wait, this is actually insane. Sorry. I'm thinking as well. Right. So you guys are the masculine energy of option number 1. Option number 1 had the mystic, the healer, and the mother. No, yeah, the mother, I think. Let me see. Oh no, it was the queen. It was the queen. The mystic, the healer, and the queen. You guys have the Hunter, the Warrior, and the Father. Like, does it get any more masculine energy than that? And again, we're not talking about gender here. We're talking about energy. Wow. I can see why you got very similar energies here. And then you have the Queen, sorry, the King of Pentacles as well. Can't quite remember what option number 1 had, if they had a queen or a king. They might have had the Queen of Pentacles, but I'm not sure. If they did, then that's wild. So here we have the 9. I'm being drawn to the 9 of Wands, who, after everything that, in this imagery, after everything they've been through, they now are able to claim their gift. Which you see this woman coming out of the cave here. It's almost like a reward for everything that they've done, everything that they've strived and they've gone against, or they've done. What am I trying to say? They've done. I feel as well that for this version of yourself, it is time for them to reconcile with the feminine energy, whether that is an external person, so maybe a love interest possibly, but also maybe the feminine within them as well. It's like they've done the healing work to now fully integrate those two aspects of themselves. And again, while I kept feeling this level of peace when I look at your imagery, it's like all these cards are very positive. They're very uplifting. Like, you have the King of Pentacles here showing the abundance that he has. You have all these flowers, these maybe this is why I felt earth sign energy as well, because this is earth sign energy with the pentacles. Very Taurus as well. Very nurturing, yet stable, grounded, and has so much abundance about him. He has enough, in the imagery I say he, so he has enough to give to his community, to his loved ones, to care for them. And that is the same energy here with the Hunter, where in the deck I believe the description is about that the Hunter doesn't come home empty-handed. It strives and goes after until it gets what it says that it's going to get. It's interesting that this card has so much color on one side and then just this kind of black and white. Oh, sorry. Just this kind of black and white imagery on the other side. Again, it feels like an intertwining of yin and yang energy, which I think I did speak about in option number 1 as well, yin and yang. Intertwining creativity with practicality. Again, we have in all of these images, actually, there's an element of colour with an element of that black and white imagery. And then again with this Hunter card. It's like while the aspects is there, it doesn't overpower them, and we all kind of have one more energy than the other. So this version of yourself has very heavy masculine energy about them. And here with the 9 and then the 0, you have 2 9s, a 0. Yeah, so after this kind of closing of one chapter, you now begin another one. Now begin your next chapter. Well, this version of you is now beginning their next chapter. I always feel as if they're ready to leave behind anything that was kind of holding them back. Particularly if it was as if like money or material things that held them back from starting this new chapter in their life. We're going to get some clarifiers for you guys. So, 9 of Wands. Why is the 9 of Wands here, please, for who they are and about you? So we have the 2 of Wands. This came out in reverse. Why is the full card here? Queen of Cups. Temperance here, please. 7 of Swords. Two of Cups and the Star card. Yeah, I see that. And then the card right there, King of Pentacles, please. Yeah, it's like this version of you is ready to almost find love, I really want to say, but also find completion. And I think that comes with another person because they found it within themselves with the 9 of Pentacles here. But we have the Star card and the 2 of Cups in reverse. It's like a desire to merge with another in a way, not in an unhealthy way, but just merge with another. Like it feels like a desire for very deep connection and love. This King of Pentacles with the Queen of Swords coming out here, I feel as if this version of yourself has kind of made it in terms of maybe monetary things, or they had certain aspirations that they achieved. They realized that it's quite cold at the top. It's quite low, or I should say it's quite lonely at the top. And where I said here with the Fool card, and they're willing to leave behind with this crown and this cup here. And he's got kind of this quite casual clothes on. This version of yourself in this universe is willing to leave behind the jewels or the riches in order to find the feminine, in order to connect deeper with something or someone. And the 2 of Wands is that energy of wanting to expand, wanting to explore, which came out in reverse. So there is a desire here for this, with it being Wands as well. A desire for connection from this other person, this other version of you. You just clarify the Temperance card here, please. So I think this version of you also acknowledges that they may have not have seen things clearly at first. that they may have made some decisions that they regret or were a bit sneaky, or, you know, even if it is about love, it's like maybe they treated people the way that they know they shouldn't have treated them. They ghosted, they, you know, did all the things that society, our culture says, like, you know, did all the dating faux pas, is that what they're called? But they've healed this. They've reconciled. That word reconcile keeps coming up. Reconciled this with this. And I think now has led them to feel open enough. Led their heart to be open enough to receive, to kind of attract or draw in this counterpart or this feminine energy, whether it is just coming from within them. So let us check out some of these archetype messages so we can draw a bit more on this. I'm going to start with the father, actually. So alongside the mother, the father resides in the central axis of the archetypal family. The father embodies both light and dark aspects of the masculine. Thus he is infinitely dynamic and complex. His energy is strong and regal, embodying such virtues as honesty, wisdom, and loyalty. Yet, ironically and simultaneously, the father is often absent, literally or emotionally. Oh, here we go. Emotional absence. Through absence or action, the father eventually reveals that he is neither king nor a god, but a human being with many flaws and wounds. He is both the guardian and the one who leaves us to the wolves. Here, yet gone, the champion and the failure, the father can neither resolve or escape his duality. It is inherent in the archetype itself. Witnessing the father's limitations allow the child to grow beyond the family and into the world. That is actually really beautiful because, again, like I said, it connects to pile number 1 so badly. You might want to go watch that, especially if you're trying to find out this energy you might feel connected to, or this person you might feel is connected to you as a kind of family, a unity. Also, when I spoke about ghosting in the dating world and how the absent father comes in here as an archetype for this version of yourself. And I think it's interesting that you guys have the father, but option number 1 had the queen. I think and how the father in this description is about recognizing that we are human at the end of the day, and we are flawed, and accepting our flaws and being okay with that title of father rather than king or god. Finding comfort in that, opposed to wanting to strive for more. And again, it comes down to this King of Pentacles here, where all that message of like it's lonely at the top. It's like more doesn't get you more. It might get you more like material things, but it doesn't get you more fulfilled. Where I was going with the first one was that what I was originally saying, first of all, basically, is that it's interesting that you guys have the father and the pile number 1 had the queen, because your message is speaking about an acceptance of the human experience and acceptance of your flaws. And even though the queen has a similar duality to it, I think there is a respectability in accepting what we are, our role in life almost, and its receptibility in accepting our limitations in living in this world and being a part of this world, I should say. And I think that this version of yourself has done that. There's almost like a beauty here that I feel, again, there's a peace in it. There's a peace in knowing who you are, knowing what you have to give to the world or give to others, like your family. Like you can say, I'm a provider, I'm this, I'm that. And there's a peace in that, and not having to strive for something that you're not. So we often envision the warrior as an armored figure with swords in hand, moving blindly towards battle. Yet the deeper aspects of this archetype bring us face to face with death itself. The warrior stands precariously at the edge of life and death, trusting the eternal to guide the sword's blade. The warrior's work requires presence, alignment, and purpose. If and when the warrior loses its center, meaningless confrontations and violence are their default response. When this card appears, it is important to question the battle at hand. It is likely a great one, with deep roots and long-standing tensions. The actions you take will stay with you long after the dust settles. So choose wisely, brave one, as you draw your swords, realign with the eternal wisdom within, then surrender to the battle. So sorry if you can hear the work going on outside. It says, be careful, as the warrior implies war. The two go hand in hand. Those who defeat others are strong. Those who defeat themselves are the mighty. And I think that really comes down to it, is that this version of yourself, and I'm really sorry if you cannot see because the lighting is terrible right now. So yeah, the ability to defeat yourself, I feel like this version of yourself has actually done, which I think is really cool. So I want us to move on now to see what decision you made in this, to see what decision it is that you made in this lifetime that actually led this to this parallel universe. Let's remember to take out the card because I keep forgetting. Right. So what decision did they make that led to this version of themselves? Oh, we've just flipped on the Two of Cups, but there's a whole bunch of cards here, so I'm not going to keep that. I feel so much beauty in your spread. You've got Temperance again as well. So certainly the decision to heal, to face your fears, to integrate again your feminine energy with the Empress here. Almost be forgiving of yourself, giving yourself grace, giving yourself permission to just be. I also think it was a decision to accept where you're at right now, like an acceptance of the present moment as it is. To stand where you stand and be proud of wherever you are, whatever point of life you're in. I'm just going to get a clarify for the Six of Cups. Decision being made. Seven of Wands. I think not reflecting... not dwelling on the past, I should say. A decision that you made to not dwell on the past, to move forwards. Again, to actually commit to the battle of self-discovery. Of almost just really growing up. And yeah, a decision to heal. To bring your life back into balance. To really reconnect yourself to almost spirituality in a way, or God, or whatever it is that you believe in, but just connect yourself to that, because sometimes when we lose that is when we start going a bit off whack. When we're kind of just doing things to do things without a purpose or meaning, almost like this warrior message here. of that, this version of yourself now has that purpose, has that meaning that drives them, whether that's family, love, commitment, duty, anything, whatever it is. It's like you have made the decision to commit yourself to something, and it led to this path, this universe being created, this reality being created. Yeah, fork in the road. So this shows me that there was a pinnacle point in your life where you had to make some kind of important decision for yourself. Some kind of important decision for yourself. Whether to maybe continue the way that you've always continued, or to do things a little bit differently. So one of the essential meanings of this card is owning up to your obligation to make a necessary choice. Every choice has a consequence. By arriving at the fork in the road, you are being asked to come to a decision. Will you further your dreams by choosing left or choosing right? Will you take the road less travelled, or the one well worn by others who have come before you? This is your choice and yours alone to make. Circumstances and other people will not make it for you. Be present, like I said, be present. Do not avoid this junction, for it is an important crossroad. Take heart, as no matter which path you choose, you will have a rich and meaningful life. Here we have, inherent in this choice is a need for change, for evolution, and for bettering your circumstances. I think the decision that you made was a recognition of that. Like, again, it's almost like a growing up. Like, I want to be better. I want to be more fulfilled. So I'm making the decision to choose the path that will lead me down that. Whether it was really a bit unconscious in that as well. A decision of self-discovery. Okay, so let's go and look at the advice that this version of yourself has given you. So, you guys have a watch a movie. And you also have You Glow, We Beam. Thanks. In case anyone should ask, your heart isn't so large because of your wings. It's your wings that are so large because of your heart. Sometimes loving so much can be pretty heavy. Thanks for all you've shared. It's just another one of those nutty body algorithm things. Yeah, that really resonates in the way that it's almost as if what they learned on their journey was that it wasn't about the external things. For example, it wasn't about their wings, how big their wings were. It was about the internal things. And the more they grew the internal, the more they experienced or they had in the external. So I miss that message of like everything on the outside is a reflection of the inside. As above, so below, like that type of thing. So yeah, by opening up your heart, or by them opening up their heart, which they're now telling you to do, or they're advising you to do, it brought so much more fulfillment and greatness to them. Even though at times it was heavy and it was difficult. Even this message here is one of those nutty algorithm things. It almost feels like it's meant to be. This journey, this experience of your life is always meant to be. So almost don't overthink it. It doesn't matter what choices you made at certain times and how things played out. It's like you can always continue to make different choices, and they will always lead to where you want to go and what will fulfill you ultimately, because it's meant to be. I almost get this with Watch a Movie here, I got the film of Coraline, and I paused for a moment to kind of think about why Coraline was coming up here. I mean, I was planning on reading it earlier, but it's just funny that in Coraline, she basically goes to a parallel universe, right? She goes to a place where she's got different parents who give her everything that she wanted, to neighbors who fill her with fun experiences and all these different things. It's like when she first enters this parallel universe, she is so excited and happy and she feels so fulfilled, and then things start to go a little bit downhill, and eventually she comes back to her own world, and I think she has a newfound gratitude for almost the mundane. And where we kind of go back to this role of the father here, where there is a gratitude for just being, just playing the role that you've always meant to play and feeling fulfilled in that. And if you ever want to be a king, you can watch a movie and escape in that way, opposed to actually doing it. So guys, that is everything that I have for you. If you enjoyed the reading, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. We've got one more video for this HALLOTAROT week, so I will see you there, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye!